Today I head to Aspen Corner, up just north of Flagstaff, to check out the fall colors. It's on the road to Snow Bowl, and of course you pass all the pine trees, and then you get into the aspens. As you can tell, you really don't even have to hike if you didn't want to. But here's the parking at Aspen Corner. You can see it's full. Just right near the parking area is spectacular. The yellow of the aspen leaves as they've changed colors. And after I complete my hike at Aspen Corner, I'll drive the mile or so up the road to Snow Bowl to check out Aspen Loop and see what the aspen trees look like farther up the mountain. But like I say, you don't even have to hike, just to drive and seeing the beauty of the fall colors is spectacular. Who says Arizona doesn't have a fall? Aspen Loop and Aspen Corner are probably the two most popular sites for people to go to see the changing leaves on the aspen trees. And they're both spectacular. And even though they're not that far apart, the slight change in elevation can affect when the leaves change color or what time of year you need to go see them. Aspen Loop is a little bit higher, and as you'll see when we get there, most of the leaves have fallen off the tree, but Aspen Corner, being just a little bit lower in elevation, still has spectacular leaves. So just keep this in mind if people say, yeah, I went to Aspen Loop and there are no leaves on the tree. Doesn't mean you're too late to see the changing leaves. Just go down the hill a little bit to Aspen Corner and you might luck out. But let's get back to Aspen Corner. This is where I start my hike. Right from that parking lot you saw, you're immediately in a grove of aspen trees. And here's your first trivia question. What's the largest living organism on Earth? Give it some thought. If you guessed a blue whale, you would be incorrect. But the blue whale is the largest animal on Earth. But the largest living organism on Earth is actually a grove of quaking aspen trees in Utah. Pando in Utah is a quaking aspen forest of 106 acres. And all the stems are genetic clones. The entire forest is connected to one root system. And since the entire forest is all connected to a single root system, it's considered the largest living organism on Earth. Interesting little fact. At any rate, right here at Aspen Corner, you see all the aspen trees. And unfortunately, you'll notice a lot of them, people have carved their names and hearts and other things into the bark. Don't do that. Some of the leaves are yellow, some of the leaves turn red. Sun shining through the leaves is just spectacular. Makes you just want to lay down and have a nap. Watching the leaves as they fall off the tree, looking up into the blue sky. It's just a cool place to be. And the thing you don't get from the pictures is the fresh air, the smell, the pine scent. Whatever it is, it's definitely different than being here in Phoenix. So, it's worth the drive, if nothing more than to smell the fresh, cool air. For some reason, I always remembered that my mother always wanted to go up north and see the fall colors each year. I'm not sure how often she was ever able to do it. But when I go up there to see these fall colors, it makes me think of her. So take advantage of it when you have a chance, when you get the opportunity. It'll give you a good memory to look back on. And good memories are important. They boost our morale and self-esteem. They also help us deal with stress and build bonds and relationships, and contribute to your overall identity and sense of purpose. And it's just fun. Aspen Corner is part of the Coconino National Forest, and there is a trail sign that shows Aspen Corner and all the way to Aspen Loop. I took a trail that was kind of heading towards the left side,
and
almost down the mountain.
To this little valley
that gave you great views looking out toward the valley. And of course, great views of the aspen trees.
Trail.
But the open meadow lets you look out over all the trees. What's the saying? I can't see the forest for the trees. It's neat sometimes to be right in the midst of them, but other times it's good to look out over the top. And if you notice, there's a little pond there. And as I come back out of this hike, I decide to stop there and I'll take some photos to just get a different perspective and try to get a reflection off the water. But now I'm enjoying just being in the forest. While I love looking at the leaves, I also love just seeing the white trunks of the aspen trees. It's all just, well, kind of spectacular. Get outdoors, start building some memories. Have you ever heard someone refer back to their years in college or some other period as the good old days? Well, it's important to have good memories to look back on. I prefer the saying from the song, "These are the good old days." Trivia question number 2. Who sang that song, or what is the title of that song? I'll give you a couple hints. It was recorded in 1971, and the song was used by Heinz Ketchup in the 70s in some of their commercials. If that didn't give it away, I don't know what will. The song by Carly Simon, Anticipation, includes the line, "For these are the good old days." So don't forget it. What we're doing now is making memories for the future. These are the good old days.
Trees are barren.
Speaking of Carly Simon,
spectacular
another one of her hit songs was "You're So Vain." I guess it always drove me a little bit crazy because she's literally singing to the guy saying, "You're so vain, you probably think this song is about you, don't you, don't you?" So she's literally calling someone vain for thinking a song she wrote about them is about them. Oh well, still not a bad song. Well, I made it back to that pond, so now I'm trying to get the reflection of the trees and the water from the pond. I'm kind of up on the ridge, and it doesn't work that great. So I go down lower and try again.
Came down lower.
I think the
Makes
shots
for a better picture.
from a little lower show the reflection a little bit better. But if you know me, I'll take a million pictures from a million different angles. And this is all just to help you so that when you go out on the hike, you can see the angle, the picture that you like the most, and duplicate it, and maybe even improve on what I've done. So, back to the song, You're So Vain. Do you know who Carly Simon was referring to or singing about? Well, there's been lots of speculation over the years, and she was always pretty vague or wouldn't really answer the questions. There was speculation that her husband, James Taylor, did you know she was married to James Taylor? I like some of his songs. Or that it could be Mick Jagger. But the prevailing thought was that it was Warren Beatty. But she'd never really answer the question until about some 30 years later. Well, looks like I've made it up to Snowbowl, and you can see there's lots of beautiful aspens up there. But if you saw that one photo, right where Aspen Loop is, all the trees had dropped their leaves. Right
All
there.
the leaves have fallen
So I
off
decided it wasn't worth
Aspen
hiking
Loop.
Aspen Loop.
Farther up the mountain.
But if you wanted to hike up
Crazy.
to the top of Humphreys Peak, it looks like you might pass through some nice
Ski lift.
aspen groves. Kind of interesting that the leaves on the trees at the higher elevation were still on the tree, where right there at Aspen Loop, the leaves were gone. And of course, there were lots of people there taking pictures. But the whole experience, going to Aspen Loop or Aspen Corner, is just spectacular. Not only from the view of the trees, but just the smell in the air. Highly recommend it. In 2015, Carly Simon wrote her memoirs, Boys in the Trees. Kind of fits this video. And she used her secret to get publicity. Time magazine said they'd put her on the cover if she'd reveal who the song You're So Vain was about. So finally, some, 30, 40 years after she had released the song, she finally admitted that verse 2 was in fact about Warren Beatty. But it was kind of left vague, and that some of the other verses could have been about other people. But that still doesn't answer my problem with the song. Why is she calling someone vain for thinking the song she's singing about them is about them? Oh well, some things were just not to know. You can see on my hike all those ferns have froze. They'll all come back in the spring and be bright green again. But right now they just add to the sense of fall. Just a beautiful hike. And you can see, once you get out and hike, you got no people around. So you pretty much have the place to yourself. All this talk about Carly Simon began because of her line in the song Anticipation. These are the good old days. And that was all about let's live in the present. As I've said before, old men live in the past because they've got no future. Young men live in the future because they've got no past. Let's learn from the past, plan for the future, and live in the present. Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, today is a gift, and that's why they call it the present. That saying's attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt and was also used in the movie Kung Fu Panda. But I'm leaving Snowball, heading back down south. I know I've put video of some of this drive already, but it's just a spectacular drive. And you'll notice a lot more cars coming up now. I think the time of day as I was leaving was about 11:30 or noon. The place is getting busier and busier. So if you have the chance to go on a weekday. Go as early as you can to beat the crowds. And you need to do it soon because before long, all the leaves will be off the tree. And you'll have to wait another year. I decided to do this kind of spur of the moment, having seen pictures of some of the leaves on Facebook and looking at my activities for the week and saying, gee, I've got some time. Why don't I just head up north and go check out some of the fall colors? Just like I did a year or two ago, I figured, well, I can head to Flagstaff and see the aspens, and then I can head to Sedona and go see if the maple trees have turned red. Well, I think the yellow of the aspens is spectacular. I like the red fall leaves of the maple trees even more. But this is hard to beat. You'll also notice more and more people along the road. A lot of these areas you're not supposed to stop and park, but some of the areas people do. But this again is back to Aspen Corner, and you'll see that there's still one or two spots to park, but most of it is taken. So get there early, go in the less busy times to have your best chance of seeing it. But after this, I head down to check on the maple trees. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.